see this as a tool that we're going to be able to continue to build upon, marketing wise for you guys, strategy wise, and it's an evolving program. So we're going to continue to bring you guys new information as this evolves. Give folks a few to log in. 97. Now it feels like a game. I just want 100.
There was well over 100 that said yes to the invitation. It was like
excellent. Well, I know we have quite a few folks who are looking for the recording too. So I see you started that recording for us, yeah, Beth.
It will. And then I'll get it up as soon as it posts today.
Awesome. Thank you. Beth, I'll make sure to share this link to the slides with you right away as well.
You hit 100.
Woo! Now you guys get to see the happy dance. That's happening. Yes, that's about as good as it gets. All right, I will share my screen here. We have a few folks on the call who have already started utilizing EasyMove too. So as always, I welcome all of you guys. Ask questions. I'll be keeping an eye on the chat thread. I'll go through the basics of the program, and then really we can chat through, even as we talk about the program, different tools for utilizing it, situations where this may arise, and we'll deep dive a little bit further. And then keep in mind, we'll have continuous training offering you opportunities for utilizing this tool. I think that good question, Joe. We have Facebook posts available that you'll be able to post, already loaded for you in the Design Center. I think it'll also be a great opportunity for you to do a video talking about the program. You're welcome. Yes, Caroline, we are going to incorporate this tool into your listing presentation. We already have a worksheet. I love that you guys are thinking about how do I share this with the world. So that'll be part of our continuous development as well. Beth, you have the same thinking face that I have when I'm analyzing as we're getting started. My team now takes screenshots of that face and creates funny memes around it. If you haven't seen that on the exchange, it's quite entertaining. My thinking face. Earned this wrinkle here, people.
Oh my gosh, I gotta see it. It's on the
Oh, Stephanie, if you've not seen that, I won't.
No. Oh my gosh, I have to.
They're all real estate related, of course. It's my face next to a listing that a seller thinks needs just a little bit of paint. I'll make sure I share that later on when training.
Okay, y'all can do that to me, okay?
I know. Sorry, that just happened. All right, what do you think, Beth? Should I rock and roll?
Absolutely.
Yes, Scott's on the call. He was the inspiration behind those funny memes. All right, guys, let's get rocking and rolling. I appreciate you being here. Today, I am going to introduce the basics of a not basic, but really phenomenal program called EasyMove, offered to you by JBGoodwin Realtors. So again, I'm going to go through an overview of the program. We're going to discuss basic concepts for you to utilize in working with sellers and even buyers, and we'll talk about that for market solutions. And then we're going to continue to develop this program and bring you more tools over time. We wanted to get it in front of you as quick as possible. So first of all, why did JB invest in bringing you the EasyMove program? We are hearing stories about iBuyers being in our market. So I actually delivered an iBuyer training a few months ago now and received some really interesting feedback from you guys. And we're reading national publications that iBuyers are here to stay, at least for the time being. And just like the rest of the world, iBuyers are realizing Texas is the place to be. Our market is stable. It has been. It's a great place for investors to invest. So iBuyers are really focusing on both Austin, San Antonio, or really our whole Texas market a great deal. So where it used to be very easy for me to coach and say, every time it's a better deal to go to open market, there are some unique situations where iBuyers are really over investing in homes in our market to try to capture market share. They'll overpay for that listing just to get a sign in the yard. So we realized that you guys were running into some challenges in those listing opportunities. And of course, it is our goal to give you every tool possible to help capture those listings. So first, let me address what is an iBuyer. An iBuyer stands for instant. An iBuyer stands for an instant buyer, which refers to the speed at which an iBuyer company's algorithm calculates the AVM, or the automated valuation model for a property. So you guys hear the ads, Zillow's posting, fill out a quick survey and we will tell you exactly what we will give you for your home. That is an example of an iBuyer. They have a computer-based algorithm. We know that's not a perfect system. You guys deal with that with RPR. It is a computer-based system working off of averages, and we know those averages cannot be applied to every property, but it is a system that is appealing to individuals because they feel like they can have instant access to information. So as we hear these iBuyers coming into our market, as your sellers are hearing those iBuyers, we wanted to offer you a tool that put you at the center of that conversation. So rather than this occurring, where we have our sellers or our homeowners who are researching different offers, they hear that Zillow ad, they've heard about knock.com, they've read the billboards, they're going online and doing their research, and then we are scrambling in order, because we find out at the end of a listing presentation that they've also reached out to Zillow. We wanted to put you guys at the center of this information to help you control that message. Therefore, we've taken all of these tools, iBuyers, and I'm going to break these down. We started offering you guys individual training. So some of you have already really successfully used the Knock program or Easy Knock program. So we started looking at these individual opportunities for partnership. And then we found this company, Zabby, who offers a tool that allows us to offer you several different solutions, all under the JBGoodwin umbrella. And it makes your homework a little bit easier, because rather than you having to go to all these different companies, we can create the EasyMove program so that you have one place that you're researching. So EasyMove is development of JBGoodwin investing in and partnering with Zabby, a company that is helping us scrub all this data, all these resources out there to offer the EasyMove program, which is one simple tool for you guys to utilize and for you to market. So rather than marketing that I have a partnership with Knock and all of those things that may become overwhelming, I have one simple solution, EasyMove. Now let's break down these different partnerships. I told you there are a lot of different companies, and even in the time that I have been researching the Zabby platform and we've been developing EasyMove for you, these opportunities continue to grow. So we're going to keep up with what's happening in the market, but I want to talk to you about some of the different solutions that are covered under the umbrella of our EasyMove program. First, we have open market solutions. So our sellers are going to list their home as we traditionally would, but there are some solutions that can overcome objections in the selling process or challenges in the selling process. So for instance, Curbio, and I have some notes here for you guys just to help decipher this if you're going back and using this as a reference, or so you can practice describing these solutions. These solutions they cover upfront cover costs for repairs. So maybe your home, you really feel the seller's home is in a great market position. However, they could have a much better financial return if they have some fresh paint and got rid of those pet stained carpets, whatever it may be, but they can't afford to do it out of pocket. These are the type of solutions you're going to be considering. Many of them offer a project manager that organizes those things. So for the family that would be overwhelmed by those challenges, we have a solution there. And most of these solutions allow a seller to pay for these costs at closing. They're taking from the sales proceeds. So we're going to market just as we would, but there's something holding us back or impacting the financial return my sellers can see from this home. These are some great solutions. Next, we're going to talk about power buyers. Power buyers are your entities that allow us to unlock equity. They are creative bridge loan solutions. They allow us options for our seller to own their current home, but purchase their next home without feeling like they might become homeless in the middle, trying to avoid a contingency. They make us more competitive in removing those contingencies or giving us more cash in hand when purchasing and still owning a property. And a number of them allow our sellers to move into their new property before they have to list their current home. So an example, imagine the seller who says, we have 3 kids, 6 pets. I went a little extreme there. Whatever scenario is happening at home, and it can just feel overwhelming and daunting. We really need to sell now, but it's too overwhelming to consider doing that throughout the holiday season. Power buyers can open up those opportunities for you. Retail iBuyers, these are the folks, and really wholesalers. Wholesalers are focusing on those properties that might need a little bit more work quite often, but retail iBuyers are the OfferPad, the Zillow, the Open Door. They want to come in and just purchase your seller's home. So whether that's appealing because your seller needs to sell really quickly and they don't want to wait for time on market, or they have concerns about costly repairs, or they have concerns from a safety standpoint in today's climate and having people come in their home going through the showing process, this might be an alternative for them as well. And that falls into both our retail and iBuyers, our retail iBuyers and wholesale iBuyers. So there are a lot of different solutions, and it can be a little daunting for you guys to be familiar with all of these, which is why EasyMove gives us one opportunity, one place that we begin our research so that we can really only focus on those tools that might be of value to our sellers. So I want to start with, and I know I'll get a head shake from Stephanie, this is not a magic wand. This is not a tool I want you guys to utilize as a quick way to sell a listing. I don't want this to replace your sign in the yard and your opportunity to help your sellers maximize their investment and maximize their return in selling a home. Because a majority of the time, it is going to work best for your seller to go to open market traditionally the way we have always aided them. However, this is a tool that allows you to be informed when you're going into a listing presentation and know what options your sellers have available to them. And it is a tool in creative situations when we're talking about those bridge loans or helping with repairs, where we really can help our sellers go to traditional market, but have some tools under their belt to do so successfully and maximizing their family's investment or their family's return. So the goal here is your EasyMove program means that you are controlling the message. It means that when you go to a listing presentation, you've gone in with the basic knowledge of what options a seller may have available to them. So that homeowner is asking you those questions and you're driving that research so that they're not finding that information elsewhere. So it keeps you at the middle of that conversation and allows you to control that message the same way we control commission objection handling and those other details that we've practiced in our listing presentation. So when would we use the EasyMove program, or why? We're going to use it to get ahead of the conversation so we don't lose clients to verified buyers. So I mentioned this is not a magic wand. Not every property is going to qualify for Zillow to purchase it. It just might not fit their investment portfolio. However, I want to be informed and know if it is so that I can have that conversation. I can control that message with the seller and not lose that opportunity. It's going to set myself apart, or set me apart from the competition. You guys have a new unique tool that if people are even starting to think about those iBuyers, they're going to come to you as that resource rather than going out and researching on their own and cutting the realtor out of the transaction. And it's going to unlock sellers who feel stuck right now, whether it's from a safety standpoint, whether it's from a feeling like they can't put their family through a scary transition from one home to the next. Those sellers or those homeowners that are thinking, sitting at home thinking, I'd really like to sell now because the market's amazing and I feel like this is the time. I just don't know from a stress point if I can handle it right now. You're going to offer them really unique opportunities and really unique solutions to overcome those challenges. When are we going to use the EasyMove program? I personally recommend that we're incorporating this as a part of the listing presentation. Though I don't expect that it's going to be a solution every seller takes advantage of or that fits every seller situation, I'm going to have a proactive conversation so that if that seller's even thinking about looking at those options, they know that I'm their resource to do that. And that having that listing agreement with me, a JB Goodwin Realtor, means that I can offer them both the traditional market solutions I describe in my listing presentation, as well as those others that they're considering. Caroline, question for me.
So with companies like Knock, you'd have to be certified, a certified agent. Does that mean I have to be a certified agent for all those programs to be able to offer them?
Great question. It does not. And I'll kind of dive into that one in a few, Caroline. Great question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. When else am I going to use my EasyMove program? So I'm going to have it as a part of my listing presentation. I'm going to pull it out if I find out, even after the listing presentation, if we run into a later hurdle, something changes in qualifying for a mortgage, something changes in a traditional bridge loan option that we looked at. I have another tool that I can overcome those challenges that may arise. And it might be an opportunity that if I have that listing, I know there's not a lot of stale listings in our market. We're in a crazy booming market. But when 2 weeks in, my seller is starting to get anxious, they're starting to look at antsy, and they want to look at additional options for their home sale process, it's another tool I can research. Even if it doesn't end up being the right fit for them, how great is it that you're showing your seller you're looking at every opportunity for them and doing that research, and it's only going to take you a few minutes, frankly, which is really great. How do we use the process? And I'm going to show you some screenshots specific to JB Goodwin, but the EasyMove program, the first step is you're going to go to the online system that you actually have access to on the hub or on the boss. Step one, put in the address and just answer 2 or 3 questions, and you're going to get instant estimates from verified buyers in the different programs. So there are initial algorithms that give us an idea of what programs that address may qualify for. Now that's just estimates, but that way you have that information available to you before you even go into a listing presentation. Step 2. If this is something that our sellers are even going to consider as an option, then we need to do some due diligence in order to gather more information and take these estimates and turn them into real offers, more information that we can coach our clients through. So step 2 is we request those real offers. And an important aspect for you to consider is the EasyMove program, the way that we developed this into this umbrella, we've set this up so you're filling out one questionnaire on our EasyMove program online or on our calculator versus having to go to Zillow and fill out an estimate worksheet, going to Open Door. We've taken all that guesswork out for you, and then we can start doing the due diligence in the background to start gathering that information with all of these verified iBuyers. And then step 3, you're going to collect all of this information over a few days, and you'll be able to actually present verified offers from these iBuyers. So that is going to be your 3rd step, and I'll show you guys some more details here. So step 1, this is an example showing you a screenshot of what actually kicks out of our system. So on the hub, it's actually our newest company update. So it's showing on your main screen right now. You can click on this and find some of your EasyMove tools. And we're going to continue to add marketing materials there, but you can find the calculator in our landing page here. So we're going to add the address. You're going to put your approximate home value. So at this point, you've done a market analysis. You have an idea of what this home can sell for on open market, and we'll give that estimated value. And then we're going to answer just a general question about the home condition. Does it need minor repairs? Does it need major repairs? That way the system can start figuring out if we're going to be looking at investment potential. So are they reaching out to those investor wholesalers who want to buy a property they're putting some work into, or are we focused more on the iBuyers that want a quick flip and return or a purchase and hold? As soon as you put that in, within a few moments, that AVM, the automated system, is going to kick out estimates and the different solutions that may be available. So we're going to be really careful here. This is not a guarantee, but these are the opportunities that may be available to help your seller with their unique situation. So that's our step 1, general overview and estimates. Look at you guys rocking questions. I'm going to pause here. Can you practice these steps on your own homes? Absolutely. A bunch of these screenshots come from me putting my mom's home in there. I don't know why I didn't use my own, but yes, I tried to sell my mom's own home. I promise I wouldn't at the end. But so you can certainly do that. And can we use this for a for sale by owner? Absolutely. I think that is a great starting point because that's going to be a great marketing tool. So Joe, you're thinking ahead. I love it. All right, so that was step one. Step two, your seller wants more information, or you're going to be pitching that FSBO and you want to do your due diligence to really get some hard numbers versus these ranges that this property might qualify for under our EasyMove program. So the system will actually take you to this next step and ask you to fill in much more detailed information about the property, all the way up to including photos. So if you don't have photos at this step, that's not necessary. You can complete this step, but we'll find, let's say Open Door is considering making an offer. If you don't upload photos now, they're going to ask for those eventually in order to verify the offer that they're going to make. So step two, we fill out that questionnaire. And then step three, we start collecting information and we receive a report that we can present to our sellers that describes what we can do from an open market standpoint to the different solutions that are offered through the EasyMove program. So steps 1, 2, 3. I want to make a few points. This isn't a magic wand or a shortcut. So I want to pause here and I'm going to show this screenshot here. What's really important is when we're providing these visuals, the system is going to kick out what we felt we put in for the open market sales price, typical commissions. Of course, there are a few numbers we don't know when it comes to repair costs, but the system is providing us an estimated net at closing so that we have that net sheet we would provide to any seller. With the verified iBuyers, it's going to give an overview. They're going to incorporate our 3% commission into this worksheet, and then we're going to get an estimated net at the bottom. Now, this is super technical, but I want you guys to keep an eye on this. A few of you who have lived through this, Rich Valadez on our team and a couple of others, what we're finding is as that research is happening in the background and our EasyMove team is reaching out to all these different verified iBuyers, they're going to be sending you email information in real time about the different offers coming from Open Door. So as they're building this information over about 72 hours, you might receive offers directly in your inbox from these different entities. And we need to do our due diligence. So it's on this worksheet. We need to decipher that information and those numbers. So the same way we would help a seller understanding an offer that they receive from any other buyer, we need to look at those numbers being received. And I will say, just like some others, they might have a lesser commission incorporated. They're trying to negotiate a commission, or they have higher upfront fees. So my personal best practice is when I receive this worksheet back from EasyMove, I'm going to review it in its entirety, just like I would comparing multiple offers, to make sure that when I'm providing this information, I've really done my due diligence to understand this and what I'm describing. So I just want to put that little safety net in there to describe that. So in the end, we still must decipher the numbers. And again, I'm not going to use this as the option to say, let's not go to market, because in our amazing market that we're experiencing all throughout San Antonio and Austin, we know those multiple offer situations can drive things higher than traditional market or a market we were experiencing a year and a half ago. But this is another resource available to my sellers, and it's something that I'm describing so I can control that message and let them know that I have access to all of those resources. I'm going to pause there. How are we doing? That was a lot of information. Debbie Love, why wouldn't a seller then just go straight to the company that made the offer and save the commission? So great question. So one thing that happens, and I know our agents are getting a little nervous, when you fill out that detailed questionnaire, it's going to ask you for your seller's contact information. That's not because these individuals or these iBuyers are reaching out to your seller directly. It's because we are registering that with our EasyMove team, so that once we provide this information, we've got that listing agreement. We've described to our seller that they're going to list with us regardless, because whether they go to open market or Zillow or Open Door, we're going to make sure that we help them, or we coach them through the numbers and make sure they have the best financial return. So we're going to control that message and tell them that either way they go, we're going to be their real estate resource. And if they say, well, I was going to research Zillow, my message as a listing agent would be, don't just research Zillow, let me research all of these opportunities for you and shop them against each other. So that's why they're going to come to us. And anybody, Stephanie, any of our agents who have used it that want to chime in in and share their own version of that, please feel free. Laura, question.
Yes, hi. So should I think about the iBuyer, like Open Door and Zillow and all of those others, as a buyer in the market? Like, do I still get a commission as the listing agent?
Absolutely. Great question, Laura. And that's a wonderful way to describe that, is you are researching these buyers against all other buyers in the market. That is a wonderful way to describe that and share that with the team, Laura.
Okay.
Yeah, so just as if I had 5 buyers come from traditional buyers on market, I'm going to be researching this option against their others.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And to make this more JBGoodwin specific and you guys to see this, when you click on the link to our EasyMove program on the boss, you will find on there, this is the calculator. It's just a cutoff screenshot for you, but you'll see that calculator. So for those of you who want to live through this process and start practicing with the EasyMove program, or you have a listing right now that you're curious what those options might be, you can plug that in by accessing, and I've got the link on the direct link here for you on the slides, just showing those same screenshots. My poor mom put her house up for sale on iBuyer, plugged that in, and within moments I got estimates. I put what I believed the home was worth, and then I had open market sale versus bridge solutions versus instant sale options using that AVM from different buyers, potential buyers. Leah.
Yes, so real quick, with the estimated cost of selling for the seller's closing costs with these iBuyers, are we able to go in and itemize that to see what they would be paying for and compare that to what we could potentially put on the open market for, where on the open market, you have buyers willing to pay for survey, title, HOA fees, versus the iBuyer, they make the sellers pay for all of that.
Absolutely. So that's where it comes down to us deciphering, which is great next level thinking, Leah. So on that open market, that's going to be the same net sheet, and you guys can alter this net sheet as you see fit. So that's going to be the same net sheet I would be working if I'm going to market and I'm looking at list to sales ratio and what homes are actually closing for in that area. And then this is a general overview. So this is the first worksheet we got on the first one we ran. It shows open market. You'll see a couple of these items are still to be determined as far as repair, because if this was just a general questionnaire and I hadn't shared any information, there weren't photos in those details. So that's where, if there's an option that our seller looks at, quite often the numbers are going to work, go to open market. And all you've done is eliminated that question for your sellers that they even want to explore that, because those fees are going to be higher in most scenarios still than going open market. However, if they say, okay, those numbers work out that I really want to explore open door, you guys can explore those options. And then we just need to verify with those iBuyers at what point our sellers are committed to going that route, because they all have options for backing out as they're going along further, finding out what the exact repairs are going to be. They have options so that you're still going to market, exploring that open market option as you're researching the actual bottom line number that you're going to get through their offer. That makes sense? Mario, I love it. Hit me.
Okay. Well, you may have answered the question, but one of my understandings about iBuyers is that often once you're under contract, then they request you to do repairs.
Mm-hmm.
Is that after an inspection, or is it something? For example, I used Knock to purchase my home and sell my, to purchase my current home, and upfront I told them what repairs were needed as a seller. And when they came back with their offer, one of the contingencies on the offer was that I complete those repairs that I stated up front. So how do those repairs factor in to the end price that the seller is going to sell their property for? In other words, will some of the companies come back later and demand repairs that weren't factored into the cost of selling?
Well, that's important. That's a great point, Mario, to kind of dive into. remember, with any contract that can happen, that our buyers can come back and say, okay, we want these costly repairs or else. So we're going to treat it very similar to another buyer on the market. And I will say, you know, my iBuyer coaching, I tell you, a majority of the time, those fees going iBuyer route are going to be significantly higher, especially in our seller's market, than they would ever be with a buyer purchasing a home. So yes, we're still going to coach to that and say, you know, these numbers are somewhat close here, but on average, we're seeing Open Door has 10% in fees when it comes down to the end. We are seeing a unique situation in our market right now. Our last 3 transactions that we had that were Open Door, their fees were only 3%. I'm sorry, 3.5% total. They really wanted those houses. So I don't want to say that that's an end all be all. That's why I can't coach to that every single time. But what I can tell my seller is we can explore that option just like we would explore our other buyers. That makes sense. And that's where we want to know how far we can get to the bottom of this, you know, with Open Door, with Zillow, whoever that buyer is. Sure, I can explore the seller. I can explore that option for you. I can give them a virtual tour of the property or set up that inspection to have them research so we can get to that bottom line. And if you want to go that route versus staying open market, when you've gone that option, I can help you through that. And then you guys are still at the middle of that transaction and receiving that commission that you would have received had you sold to a traditional buyer on market. That makes sense?
Do any of these iBuyers do an inspection, a full inspection? Or
to my knowledge, I don't know of any that are doing a full inspection. Most of them have somebody who's coming out for a walkthrough. They might, it's a modified version. The longest one I've heard about is about 40 minutes of them coming through, taking photos of the properties. And if anybody's had longer or a different experience, let me know. But I've not seen a full inspection on any of those.
okay. Yeah, because like I said, when I used Knock, it was only what I disclosed up front with them.
Right. Absolutely. And Knock's somewhat unique because you're also going the route of traditional market as well when you go there versus the Open Door or Zillows that are just purchasing the property and they're done with it. They do a little bit more due diligence up front.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
And I'll pause. I saw a Jean Marie question.
Yes, Erin, and I'm not sure if you addressed it 100%. I just want to be clear. How is it that we establish that we're the listing agent?
You're going to get a listing agreement up front just as you typically would. So I'm going to just,
sorry, go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to outline this opportunity, the EasyMove program in the listing presentation as another tool I have available to promote the property and explore buyer options for them. So what I'm doing is I'm eliminating that maybe if they have Zillow in the back of their mind, so they're hesitant to sign that listing agreement,
Okay.
I'm eliminating that what if, and I'm describing to them whether they're going directly to Zillow in the end because we find that great opportunity, or they're going traditional market. Either way, I'm their resource to make sure that they are maximizing the return on that sale.
So basically, hopefully we get the listing agreement, and if we determine that the buyer could be an iBuyer, that is how it's handled, and they are purchasing it from us as the selling agent.
Correct.
Okay.
The language can be a little confusing. Some of the iBuyers, they're saying they're paying you a referral fee for purchasing it, and each iBuyer works a little bit different. But when we come to our worksheet, we're going to make sure that when we are working these numbers one against the other, the nets for the seller, we're making sure that that commission is included so that we're covered. And then we're exploring or comparing apples to apples for those different nets for our sellers.
So would that mean that in the listing agreement that the seller is actually paying our commission versus, for example, maybe I'm not wording it properly, but
your listing agreement's going to be the same. It's still going to be that 6% because we're, again, treating this like any other buyer on market.
Okay.
Now, if Open Door purchases it, they're going to say, now amend your listing agreement. You're keeping 3% for yourself, and we're not taking a commission. Does that make sense? But
is that what they do?
6%, that is.
Okay.
But they're like any other buyer coming and representing themselves, or if you were helping your seller sell to a real estate agent and they were waiving their commission or using it for closing costs.
Okay, thank you.
Think of them, you're welcome. Think of them as any other buyer. Diana Markey, good questions, guys.
Hey guys, I was just answering Mario. So I just sold my personal home to Zillow. and they did not do an inspection. They came through, they took pictures of the house. They gave us an estimate of what they thought it was going to be. Then they came out in person, walked through the house, took pictures, measured the rooms, did all that, then gave us another, and actually ended up being the same amount that they had originally given us. And then that was it. They never came back out. They only did a final walkthrough the day of closing, but no appraisal and no inspection. We got through with all that. So
awesome. And
so
Diana's
yeah,
a great example. Oh, I'm sorry, Diana.
no, you're good. So if anybody has any questions, let me know. I just did it.
Awesome, thanks. And she's a great example where she's in one of those unique markets. Zillow wants that market. So even with Diana controlling her own commission, having the best handle possible on the open market, Zillow was willing to put those marketing dollars they have into paying a premium for Diana's home. So she's a great example of that seller where, though quite often we can coach and say, no, those fees that an iBuyer will charge in the end will mean you should go to open market. There are unique situations we're seeing in our market where we want to explore those options. Let me pop back down here. I showed you guys these screenshots of just getting your instant estimate, going straight to your EasyMove calculator. And then once I've gotten those quick estimates, if we want to go further, this is just a screenshot in our EasyMove system showing that you're going to put contact information in. And I want to remind you, it looks scary. In step 3, you're putting your client's contact information in, but that's because we're registering our client. So we're letting them know we have a listing agreement. We're checking that box. We're putting their contact information in. I'm registering that client. So if Doris, sorry, Ma, Doris goes straight to Zillow to sell to them directly, I've already started this process and I'm their resource so that it comes back to me and saying, hey, thank you. We see you're working with the EasyMove program. And again, that puts this transaction back in my lap to manage it. So I know that looks scary and I've gotten quite a few texts saying, wait, why am I providing that information? That's coming to us in EasyMove. We're not sharing that out with all of those different entities. After those questions, it's going to ask if they want to collect more information. You have option 1 says you can have your seller fill out the property details. So if you want, the seller can fill out the questionnaire about that property. However, you know me, I like to control a message and information and be as informed as possible. So I really recommend that as you're doing this, also so you guys can live the process and understand it, I recommend you select option 2 and you fill out that questionnaire. There is a detailed questionnaire about the condition of the property, but it's no more information than you would already know in researching a property. So we fill out the rest of those details, home information, interior, exterior. And again, if you want the seller to fill it out, you can send them a link to fill it out. But again, I'd really strongly recommend you control that message. So these are just screenshots so you guys can see the process, but I love that you guys already want to jump in and try to live the process on your own. And then when I'm done filling out the questionnaire, I'm going to receive a success confirmation that gives me a confirmation that this has been completed. And you'll even receive an email letting you know what's happened and next steps. Now, even though we have that instant gratification of estimates up front, realize that there's a lot of work happening in the background with our EasyMove team where we're researching additional options. So we're not going to be able to provide this instantly to our sellers. This is going to take 24 to 72 hours. So instantly Open Door might be excited to see your application and they might be reaching out to get more information or to provide extra details, but realize that our EasyMove team is going to be working in the background over 72 hours to be researching, answering questions for Zillow if they have some follow-up questions and those details before we get that beautiful overview at the end that tells us exactly what we've received. I'm gonna pause here. Good job, Steph. I love gearing the details. I want to share on your support tab of the boss. We've added the contact information for our customer success team for the EasyMove program. So you can pick up the phone and call. This is our EasyMove team backed by Zabby. So that you have questions and we're living through and learning through this process. You have a telephone number you can reach and an email address that is specific to this program. We have marketing tools already available to you in the design center. And these tools have been designed to be catchy. It shows multiple solutions to challenges that sellers are having out there. And frankly, when I look at this, I see about 15 different videos you guys can be doing to your database, or an excuse to call every seller in your market addressing different solutions, whether it's just additional solutions through bridge solutions to remove that contingency for those folks who have been thinking about moving up or moving down, or instant offers for that FSBO that's sitting on market right now, that might be really appealing to. So I hope you guys will look at these tools and think about not only how can I just post these on social media to share content and advertise the program, but how can I build a marketing strategy around this where I start with that post, then I follow up with texting it to individuals in my database, and then I pick up the phone and call my database to tell them about this amazing new tool. Then I shoot a video to send out through my Moxie campaign describing the different solutions I have available. You guys can really build content off of this for time to come. And our wonderful marketing team has even incorporated for you guys some flyers that you can brand to yourself in the Design Center as of today to deliver this. And in the Design Center, there's one EasyMove button that takes you to all of this content so far. All right, we can kind of dive into this and troubleshooting some ideas. I saw a hand raised and I missed it. Where's our hand raised?
It's
Jackie. Hi, Jackie.
Hi, Erin. My question is, what happens if our clients have already gone and clicked on some of those iBuyer companies to get estimates?
Great question. We can try to insert, my first recommendation is going to be every time, get the listing agreement, have the same message, and tell them that you have so many opportunities available to them. So they don't want to limit themselves just to that one or two options that they've been exploring. Because quite often your numbers, open market, again, are going to go overcome that objection. So get the listing agreement as soon as possible, describe the EasyMove program and why that's a solution for helping decipher those different offers that they're receiving and coaching them through what really shakes out in the end. I mean, I use this, think of the example, I know it's a new concept working with iBuyers, but just think about when your clients are exploring two different lenders. And one lender offers this amazing interest rate that seems like it's too good to be true, but your buyers don't understand that they charge these horrible upfront fees to get to that interest rate. So it's our job to help them really understand those opportunities that are out there in the market. Jackie, I think that you can help them overcome and be their coach to get them the best deal in the end. So get the listing agreement. We do have an opportunity because these iBuyers want to continue to work with us that we can insert ourselves in a lot of these scenarios. So I would encourage you to go through the EasyMove program the way you would otherwise to explore those options for your sellers. And what we've seen in some of these solutions, even when our sellers have gone to them, they're offering us maybe a referral fee, might be less than a 3%, but often we've been able to insert ourselves into that transaction as our client's advocate and receive a referral fee, even if it can't be the total commission since they already explored those options.
That's great. Thank you.
You're welcome. If dealing with a relocation listing, do we speak first from the relocation company before we offer this option? Ooh, great question. So I would go in armed like I plan on doing with every listing presentation and knowing those options, because sometimes none of these are going to be solutions for your sellers anyway, and it's a moot point. We don't even have to engage that conversation. So keep that in mind. That's why doing our own homework up front to see if this property even qualifies. I mean, in San Antonio, if they have a septic system, nobody wants to touch it. So that instant research I can do is to see if I even need to have that conversation specifically. I might still describe the EasyMove program, but tell them that I will do the research to see if it qualifies. So I eliminate that question, but I do my homework first. And then yes, in those scenarios, because they're so unique and a relocation company is actually buying the property, we need to have that conversation with our relocation counselor, Kim. Great question. Jenny. Oh, you're still muted, dear.
Okay.
There you go.
So good afternoon, good morning. I just want to ask, okay, we get the 6% on the listing agreement, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then Zillow said, hey, I want to buy your seller's home. Shall we pay Zillow from the 6%? Shall we pay them, or
Yeah, so it's going to work a little different with every iBuyer, and they're in their offer, they're going to describe that. So, and even to the point where sometimes the net is going to show the way the seller pays it to you versus the iBuyer. Some iBuyers are just going to waive that 3% altogether. So you're going to be earning your 3% listing and they're not. Others are earning it as a part of it. So it's going to vary from iBuyer to iBuyer. So a big part of this, it's called EasyMove, and it's really easy for you guys to do your research, but it is going to require each of us really, if our clients say, hey, those numbers on Zillow up front look good, we're going to have to educate ourselves on that Zillow process. So that's where I see this follow-up training happening for you guys. And I really want to have some cheat sheets for you as each of you have these experiences. I'd love to live through them with you so that we can put together a cheat sheet for what the Zillow process typically looks like. And then I'll tell you, just like our market is continuously developing, these iBuyers are changing their strategies. And they're changing their marketing, they're changing the way their systems work. So we'll really have to do our due diligence when we're researching these options for our sellers to decipher that information. Good question, Jenny. Caroline, I didn't address your question.
Yeah, oh, that too. But I have a follow-up on Jenny's question. So Open Door has a 5% service fee that they charge. Is that in addition to my commission, or will that disappear?
It's going to depend. So we've actually seen Open Door doesn't always have a 5%. We've seen a 2% on the last transaction that we closed. So that's where we will use that spreadsheet that they send to us. They'll include or itemize in that offer for them our commission and if they have an additional service fee. So you'll see in this example on Open Door, I know it's hard for you guys to see teeny tiny. Yes, it is the 5% service fee plus our additional 3% sellers. Annette, I love cheat sheets too. And then Caroline, what was your original question? I apologize.
Yeah, so for programs like the NOC, they want you to do an online course. Do we have to do that for all of the other, like Ribbon? I know it also offers it. I don't know about other ones though.
Really great question. So we will have to explore those options over time. So not every iBuyer program has their own certification that you have to go through. So I know a number of people on this call already got NOC certified to be able to deliver that information. And that is, so not all NOC programs or closings require you to be NOC certified. So that's where we're going to have to look at that fine print when we receive offers to know next steps, because sometimes they're just paying us a flat referral fee and saying, we're going to offer this and you don't have to be certified. So Caroline, that's going to be program to program. We'll have to look at that specifically. But you don't need to go out and start getting certified in all of these programs, because I'm going to come back again, realize EasyMove quite often is just going to be a program to offer a tool for you to overcome that objection or that hurdle if your seller is wondering what options are out there. So I really think that it's going to be a tool you have in your belt to say, oh, you're curious about those iBuyers? Don't worry, I'm your resource for that as well, and I can make sure you have the best opportunity available to you.
Erin, would you like to help you on the chat? A few questions up here?
Yes, that'd be great. I was just going to say, Stephanie, I know you're dying to chime in there.
Donna Baker asked, would you compare the net sheet for open market sale to these net sheets?
Would you? So we drive the train. When we get this net sheet, the open market sale on the left-hand side is the information that we provided to EasyMove to generate that. So I would double check that to make sure there weren't any averages that we missed that don't pertain to our market, but 100%. So again, going back to Laura's really great point, these iBuyers are just another buyer option out there. I would compare what we expect the market to do to what these iBuyers are offering our seller. Good question.
Christina asked, should this only be presented to sellers with a signed listing agreement?
Christina, I personally would be presenting the EasyMove program to every seller. So again, I'm at the center of that conversation, because I don't want to know, or I don't want it to be that I do a listing presentation, For some reason, I couldn't get that listing agreement signed because they were thinking this in the back of their head, and I just couldn't get that objection out of them. They wouldn't share that Zillow was in the back of their mind. I don't want them to go explore this without me when I walk out the door. So I personally will present the EasyMove program to every potential seller and even buyers, because we've got some unique options in there for contingency situations. I'll present it every time, but then I will control the information that follows when it comes to those options.
Erin,
Tammy.
I just, some of my agents have come to me with this too. So we're presenting the option, but we're not filling in, guys, all their information and going on the listing appointment with, hey, this is what we have for you. So I think that's what we need to just clear up a little bit.
I think that's a great point, Tammy. So I would never walk in the door with this spreadsheet that's in front of me, because that's overwhelming information. They just need to know that I am the resource of this information, and I'm going to help them find the best opportunity. I'm going to take care of them the same way I would if this wasn't an option. So I think that's a really great point, Tammy. We're going to present the EasyMove program as a program offered as another tool, just like our other marketing strategies, to explore every buyer option we have out there. Great point, Tammy.
And Suzanne asks, are they only able to use the options of paying for repairs at closing to use the equity for new property if they choose the iBuyer versus the open market?
No, some of our options that we have, what we call power buyers, give us an option to open up equity without having to go the repair route also. Does that answer that question? Yes.
Suzanne, did that answer your question, Suzanne?
Yes, thank you.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
Donna Baker, is there any referral fee for using EasyMove through JBGoodwin?
No. This works like any other. This is a JB invested in it. He's paying for it in the background, just like he invests in Moxie and Quantum Digital as a tool to help you guys have more opportunities for both promoting yourself and overcoming objections. This is his investment, the team's investment, and there's no additional cost to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Great question.
Kim Wolf, last question on the chat. On the listing agreement, what would you recommend putting in for commissions?
I'm sorry, one more time. I missed that one.
No problem. On the listing agreement, what would you recommend putting in for the commission?
Oh, 6% or 7, 8, or 9 every single time.
9.
So again, this is just another buyer opportunity to have available. So that same commission that I would have negotiated with the seller otherwise, I'm going to stick to that.
Mark, what's your question?
Sharon, I see you. Yes, you're that queen of 9%. Mark Stillings, you have a sales scenario question.
Mark, you with us?
We'll come back to him.
Oh, okay. I think I'm there.
Hi, Mark.
Me and technology. So I've got a client that I've been working with for a year to try and get the list, but they're just stuck. What they really need is a project manager. The thing is, I don't think I can get a signed listing agreement up front because, again, they're just on stock. Would you take the calculated risk and run the scenarios and show them what they could do with obviously knowing that they could then maybe cut you out and go directly to Zillow? I don't think they're that kind of person, but I don't know any other way to just get them motivated to take a next step.
I would, because again, the information that we're getting from a seller's information, not saying there can't be something happening, but the agreements and the partnership that we have through our EasyMove program and Zavvy with these iBuyers, they don't want to damage that relationship. So they're not directly reaching out to those individuals. That's the agreement they have in partnering with the Zavvy program and going those routes. So I personally would, Mark, if it's something that's going to open up options, and remember, you can control a ton of this message. So I would research those options. They might be able to go Curbio, some of those where, like for instance, Curbio, if they get a project manager, does repairs and they pay for it at closing, that option, no iBuyers coming in and even trying to buy this. It's always going open market. So you're always their end solution there in that scenario.
Jeff Harkson has a question. Do other brokers offer this service?
Great question. Not as well as we do. I had to. So there are brokerages out there. You'll see, and I don't like the spin, and it's actually backfiring on a lot of brokerages that they're saying guaranteed offers. We're being very careful not to use that language. There's no guarantee here. So they're saying guaranteed offers, instant cash buyers. And I know we've been on the listing end of this where we're hearing some of this advertising and those pitches as offers coming to us. And then we're finding out partway through a transaction. Leah, was it you who had a cash transaction and then 5 days in they were FHA? Somebody on this call had to deal with that because it didn't quite work out. So there are a lot of different models out there. We're being really careful to try to bring you guys a model where we're offering solutions and then we're still controlling that message. And we have a number of different options to really tailor to different scenarios. So there are programs out there, but we're really being careful to make sure you guys have the best tool available.
Yes, absolutely. Phyllis, your hand was up.
Yes, you mentioned septic, and most of, out here where I live, it's all septic. So is it even worth it to present that to someone that has a septic or a well?
Good question, Phyllis. And the septic is a limiting factor mostly for the direct retail iBuyers. And in Austin, we need to research that as well, because Austin opened up a little bit on them being more flexible. So it's mostly a limiting factor for your iBuyers right now, Phyllis. However, the power buyers and some of those other solutions, it's not a hurdle at all. So absolutely, still look at your options. And because my seller doesn't know that they might not qualify for Open Door because they have a septic system, I'm still always going to explore the EasyMove option and describe it to my folks to make sure they don't get distracted going that route.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Suzanne has a question in the chat. Would they be able to pay less commission if they went straight to the iBuyer? Or are we able to say it will cost more? It will cost no more if they go through us.
Good question. So technically, yes, there might be a better deal, just like they can for sale by owner and they can go directly rather than having a realtor representing them. There are options that they can go directly to those iBuyers. However, my response is going to be the same that it would be for a FSBO seller when I'm trying to obtain that listing and describing that there are a lot of options and some of these offers might come on looking very appealing up front that they might save them money. However, once I help them decipher this information and explore all of their options, I typically pay for my own commission in the different options and alternatives that I offer them to cover that. Tammy offers a really fabulous commission objection handling course. That's one of my favorites that addresses that. And I will say overcoming that objection would be the same I would deal with if I was working with a for sale by owner or somebody trying to cut my commission. All comes down to us protecting them and helping them maximize their return. Great question.
Mario, your hand was up.
So is it possible to start the process and get those estimate offers up front and then you just stop there, or?
It is. Great question. So that first screen where we can go in and get those AVM, those instant estimates, I personally, before I would go to a listing presentation, would make that first step just to know what's out there and what a seller might see if they went on to Zillow.com and asked for the same estimate. So you can certainly put in the address and go through that step just to do the research before you go in for a listing presentation, and then not take the next steps until after you have a listing agreement and you're really exploring if those would even be options. Great question and a good practice to share, Mario.
Who has committed, and I'm going to get her to sign the listing agreement probably in the next couple of days, but I wanted to start the process with her address just to see what came up.
Yep, absolutely. Go for it, Mario.
Jenny and Caroline, do you guys still have questions, or is your hand up from the last question? No questions? Okay. Donna Baker. Donna Baker had a question.
Oh, you're still muted, Donna.
Oops. Is there any difference once you have a contract with one of these iBuyers or open market type situations when it comes to contract to close? Do you still handle all those details in the contract to close process?
Great question. Yes, you're still going to protect your seller and coach them through the process just like you would any other. It can be similar to working a relocation transaction where they have their own specific title company they utilize. So it's going to be different depending on the iBuyer, but you're still going to coach your seller from contract until closing the same way you would otherwise.
Thank you.
Great question.
Luigi has a question. If we offer service, as Mario said, without a listing contract, and at the end of the day, they go back and close directly with one of the companies, do we get a commission?
Great question. No, just as if we went to a listing presentation and told some seller great ways to market their homes, and then when they went out and did it on their own, we have to have that listing agreement in order to protect ourselves. So I don't want your practice, your goal every time you go to a listing presentation is to get that listing agreement signed before you leave. I don't want that practice to change, even if you're still doing homework and researching iBuyer options.
Carol asks, so once you do the research, do they have the option to reach out to the seller directly?
No, that message, all those communications are going to come back to you as the agent. So you control that message, and it's not until you open up those communications or going to a contract standpoint that you can. If you want to have them contacting them directly, you can open that up. You guys are on fire. I love this.
They are. Mark, is septic a no-go for all offers, including Curbio?
No, Mark, that's only really a big issue, and I apologize I didn't make that clear up front. For your retail iBuyers, that's just been one of their stipulations, though I expect that's going to change. When those iBuyers moved into our market, at first, Open Door wasn't even considering homes in a gated community, and we know that cut out a huge chunk of our market, and those conditions have changed. So septic is just one example I was giving today, but I expect that will loosen up, and Curbio and our power buyers, NOC, also are comfortable with septic systems.
I actually have a question, if that's okay, Erin. When the agents generate the offer from any of these iBuyers or bridge programs, how long do those offers last? Is there a statute of limitation on the offer or the seller?
For most of them, and every offer I've seen so far, it's been 7 days.
Oh, wow, 7 days, y'all. So we got to close quick. Okay.
Great question, Stephanie. Now they each have their own renewal. It's kind of like if you take your car to CarMax to sell it and you get that offer. Has anybody done that? That offer is good for 7 days, but then they ask you a few questions. If you're on day 8, they ask you a few questions. If anything's changed, you fill out a questionnaire and they'll renew those offers. So it's pretty easy to renew most of those in the experience we've had so far. Great question, Stephanie.
Janet had a question. Do you think this will be the norm for the future as far as traditional seller listings, and that more folks will go the faster route?
Great question, and I really should have led with that, so thank you for bringing that to us as a closing. iBuyers, I do not personally believe, in everything I read and the research I do, I don't believe they are going to change our market. Just as we described in the process, they are going to be an additional buyer that's out in our market just like any others, just like we have wholesalers and other tools. And keep in mind the business model of what I've described to you, that right now Zillow is overpaying for listings, or Open Door is overpaying for listings. Realize that market model doesn't last for them. They can't sustain their business doing that. Right now, I actually talked to a big executive at Zillow saying, hey, look, we've had a couple of neighborhoods and listing presentations where you've overpaid for a listing. What's up with that? Now your listings are sitting on the market for a longer period of time in our market. And they said, Erin, it's marketing dollars for us. Texas is the place to be. So we'll overpay for that listing to have that sign sitting in the yard, hoping that we can buy a few more houses in that neighborhood and not overpay for them. So this is not a sustainable model. It's a marketing strategy. They're putting some of their marketing dollars into our market in these unique scenarios. I truly expect that a year or two down the road, we're going to be handling those objections the same way we always would. But that's also why our EasyMove program will continue to develop, and we'll bring you guys new tools, because I do believe bridge solutions, those NOC programs, I do believe they're here to stay as tools to help your clients when they're still going to open market, but having unique opportunities to do so, and you guys coach them through the process. So I personally, and anybody feel free to chime in, they're not going to change our market. There have been unique things like this hitting our market every year for decades, but we'll try to keep ahead of those so that you guys have tools to overcome those objections. You're welcome, Kim. Any other questions there, guys? You guys had awesome questions. I took notes here of things to incorporate into the training moving forward. Next step, and Stephanie, you chime in. I think really what we could do for you guys to help you, I'm going to post a great video that was provided by Zabby in our EasyMove program that gives you some speaking points of what you might be utilizing when you're talking to sellers about this. And then I frankly am going to start posting some examples of conversation points or social media examples that you might utilize in posting to describe the program. So we'll continue to bring that information to you, as well as some coaching. Stephanie, I can see coaching on reaching out to FSBOs, all kinds of tools to follow.
Yes, you guys know me. If you coach with me, I love those for sale by owner calls, expireds, cancels, withdrawals. What can we do? No excuses. It's so amazing, amazing opportunities for you to make these conversations, to call for sale by owner and say, hey, I have 2 possible offers for you. I'd love to view the property and review all your offers and situations. And this is a lot of the objection handling that we do in coaching. So yeah, definitely. And I want you guys to know, Erin worked really hard. She did a lot of research on this. And it's just wonderful to have such a great leadership team that's always looking out for your best interest. And please don't worry, we're always needed. Okay? No one's going to buy us out, or there's not going to be no need for a realtor. This is still a people business. And the way we help people is creating solutions to problems, into which Erin has worked diligently on, so that there are no more excuses. Get those listing contracts, and we'll make sure we post all the upcoming coaching.
Thanks, Stephanie. You're the best. Thank you all for being here. So proud of you guys. I know Tuesdays are a crazy day. We've got all kinds of information for you on Tuesdays, and you guys took the time out and really asked exceptional questions through this. So we will all learn from your questions as well. We'll incorporate those into future training. You all rock. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Erin.
Thanks. Thanks, Tammy.
Thank you, Erin. Thank you so much, Erin. Thank you so much.
It was my pleasure.